The worst thing he did, the worst thing in the world, he wanted Cyborg to say Booyah. Racist. Shut it down! Destroy this racist man, Joss Whedon. We're going to destroy you. How dare you? How dare you? What's up, guys? It's your boy Vito. How you doing? How you feeling? Okay, enough YouTuber voice. Look, I saw a news article. I wanted to talk about it. I've been making less of these rant videos. I'm working on another big video, but this was one I feel like we got to dig into. I want to say a couple things real quick. I've done limited work in Hollywood. Obviously, I'm not a big-time Hollywood guy, but I've worked on some sets. I've been on some sets. I've worked with some directors. Small-time stuff. But I have seen how hard it is to be a director. It's a very demanding job. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't. There are movies and scripts I would like to make, but I've seen how hard it is to be a director, to get to manage all these actors and craftspeople behind the scenes, whatever else. It's a nightmare of a job. So whenever I hear a story about a director being mean, being pushy, being assertive, I go, look, man, they got the hardest job in the world. Okay, if they lose their temper, if they're a little forceful, I don't know. I mean, you kind of got to let it slide. I mean, that's part of the gig. But we live in a new time, a time where everybody needs to be sensitive and think about everybody's feelings. I don't know how you be a Hollywood director in these times where if you do anything wrong, if you're not the nicest guy in the world, all your little actors with their big old egos go running to the press. And I think that's what we have here today. And before we dig into this one, don't forget to subscribe, please. I really appreciate it. Keeps the channel going. Keep growing, Vito Nation, baby. Vito Nation, you're a part of it, whether you like it or not. Let's get into it. Now, here's Ray Fisher. You may know him as Cyborg from the Justice League movie, which was originally a Zack Snyder movie, then became a Joss Whedon movie, then became a Zack Snyder movie again, because we live in an insane universe where nothing makes any sense. Now, as many people know, Cyborg's role in the original cut of the movie was supposed to be much bigger. Joss Whedon came in and had to find a way to shorten the movie down to 2 hours, and he did that, and a lot of that was cutting down some of Cyborg's scenes. Now, to be fair, it seems like everybody's scenes were cut down a little bit. And you can't really fault the Justice League movie for being like, let's focus a little more on Batman, who everybody loves, as opposed to Cyborg, who nobody's heard of him. Okay, we're going to take some of his scenes away. I don't know. People came to watch the movie for Ben Affleck, let's be real. They're not here for Cyborg, but obviously Ray Fisher was upset with that and believes it was racially motivated. And this has been an ongoing drama. I don't know how much of it you've followed, but let's take a look at this article from today, where I believe they have talked to Ray Fisher. It is an interview. They are promoting this interview everywhere. Like, this is the big revelation. This will finally give the scoop on exactly what went down. He does not do that at all. In fact, there is barely any new information from Ray himself, and I think it actually ends up making him look bad, some of the things he says. Okay, Ray Fisher opens up about Justice League, Joss Whedon, and Warner's. I don't believe some of these people are fit for leadership. Over the past year, the actors assailed them for inappropriate conduct. Sure. Let's see here. Can I zoom in on this? Why is it not centered? There we go. All right. In June 2020, he fired off a tweet accusing Whedon of gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable behavior on the set of Justice League. My God. WarnerMedia says that remedial action was taken as a result of its investigation. They did investigate Joss, but they have not elaborated on that. And they say that for privacy and legal reasons, they cannot publicly disclose their findings. So there was an investigation. Ray Fisher said, I was mistreated on the set of Justice League. Warner looked into it. Now, Warner says we didn't find any problems. Ray goes, well, of course not. You're the studio. You're going to lie to protect your director. I don't know what to tell you. Though I do think that these PR companies, I mean, it's not like we've never seen a company fire a big-time employee for malfeasance. I think these big old giant companies are much more interested in protecting themselves than they are the people who work for them. So, I don't know. I kind of trust this WarnerMedia probe a little bit. Very possible that maybe they're being sneaky, but As they say, no credible support for claims of racial animus. I don't know what animus is. I always see that word. I don't know what it is. Racial animus. It's the best kind of animus. Or racial insensitivity. And they say they made extraordinary effort to accommodate his concerns, to fairly look into everything. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Here we go. Here's where it gets... All right, I don't want to be cynical here. He says he felt a new sense of urgency to speak out when the pandemic hit and the Black Lives Matter protesters took to the streets. Now, there's a very kind way to read this, and the kind way to read this is Ray Fisher goes, you know what? I think there was racial mistreatment. You know, I feel like I was quiet and I just accepted it before, but now I'm going to take a stand on behalf of all African Americans everywhere. That's the nice way to interpret it. The mean way to interpret it, and to be clear, I'm not saying this myself, but you could interpret this as, I saw that Black Lives Matter was going on. Black people were in a position where, frankly, people were making concessions to them in various forms, whatever you want to interpret that as. And I figured I could ride that Black Lives Matter sentiment into getting myself a little something. Getting myself, I don't know exactly what he wanted. Get his story out there, get back in the DC universe, whatever it is. Two ways to take it. I do think that it's a mix, though. I think this is a guy who probably does feel that he was legitimately wronged, but I don't buy this. I don't buy this altruistic line of I was doing it on behalf of black people everywhere. Well, there's a lot you can do on behalf of all black people everywhere that doesn't involve you getting a role in a superhero movie back or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, fixing your reputation as an actor, or basically, you know, I would interpret it as wanting to say, hey, I wasn't shitty in that movie, because an actor never wants to be associated with a shitty movie. The director was shitty. The movie would have been better if Joss Whedon had listened to my notes. That's at least how it reads to me. Maybe I'm negative. Who knows? The problem is, as it says, Fisher has not given enough details. What does he mean? That there was racism or poor management? I mean, we need to know. He claims there's an NDA. No one's ever seen this NDA. The Warner Brothers says there is no NDA, and Ray Fisher could say whatever he wants. But obviously he has to watch his tongue, because if he says anything wrong, he could get sued, I suppose. And people have been coming out against Joss Whedon. There was Charisma Carpenter, which is a whole other bag of worms I'm not getting into right now. She says Joss Whedon told her to get an abortion. I don't buy that. I think that sounds like a miscommunication to me. I really don't think Joss Whedon was so precious about the plot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that he's like, listen, I need you to kill that kid inside you so the sanctity of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer timeline is intact. I really don't think that was a thing that he said. So they started an investigation. Investigation happened. Nobody found anything. Okay. So let's get into some of the specifics. We have some specifics. Finally, very exciting stuff. So Fisher says Zack Snyder, Chris Terrio, he loved him. Joss Whedon came on, and all of a sudden he thought Joss Whedon does not understand black people, is what this comes down to. Fisher says he came to feel he needed to explain some of the most basic points of what would be offensive to the black community. Okay. Now, this is where I'm talking about. Do you as a director who has made a $1 billion movie, which at one point, Avengers, was the #1 highest grossing... Oh, wait. Oh, no, it was below Avatar. So what, #2? Was it the #2 best grossing film of all time? Let's see. List of highest grossing films. Come on, give me the list. Endgame's up there. Where's the first Avengers? Wow, dude. Oh, there it is. So it's currently #8. At one point, it was the third most highest grossing film of all time. It has made $1.5 billion at the box office. So if you're a guy who made the third best money-making movie of all time, at one point, and now it's the 8th, whatever. Movies keep getting crazy. But still, do you want the guy playing the robot? Not to be mean, but do you want the guy who's playing the robot to come to you and go, well, you got to change my character. I want you, listen to me. Let me rewrite the script. Me, Ray Fisher, the guy playing the robot. No, you're going to go, buddy, listen, I made $1.5 billion. I don't got to listen to fucking anybody if I don't want to. Okay. Now you can say that's mean and callous. I don't know if that's how he said it to him, but here was the tiptoeing Whedon was tiptoeing around the fact that everything was changing when the two of them met at the bar. Fisher got the revised script, which revised his traumatic backstory, okay, which he says represented his parents were two genius-level black people. I didn't get that from the Snyder Cut. Was his mom a scientist? I thought his mom was just a mom. We never see her doing science stuff. Was she supposed to be a genius as well? And maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. Yeah, Fisher, I'm sorry, but they had to cut a 4-hour movie down to 2 hours. Like, yeah, I hate to say it, losing your mom's car crash. I don't know. Maybe you could have found a way to make it work, but it's not crucial necessarily. There was stuff I would have much rather have been in that first cut than your mom getting in a car crash. There was a lot of other stuff missing. Fisher said he mourned the loss of the Cyborg material, but was moving on when he said, because Whedon had sent an email about the script. Fisher said, yeah, it sucks that whatever, I'm losing stuff, but, what can I do? But I do have notes about the representation of the character. He said this in an email to Whedon. He says, in a call with Whedon, Fisher had barely started to talk when the filmmaker cut him off. And this is a great quote. Feels like I'm taking notes right now. And I don't like taking notes from anybody. Not even Robert Downey Jr. Other sources on the project say Whedon was similarly dismissive of Godot and Momoa when they questioned new lines. Yeah. Okay, yeah. He's the fucking director. He's not only the director and kind of the screenwriter for this whatever cut. Now, again, the movie wasn't great, but I think he was handed an impossible task to cut a 4-hour movie down to 2 hours. That movie was going to suck regardless. And everyone out there saying, well, they should have just released the 4-hour cut. There's a whole thing. Movie theaters do not want to run a 4-hour movie. Okay? Because a 4-hour movie, they can run it 4 times in a day, sell tickets 4 times that day. They would rather the movie be 2 hours a day so they can have 8 show times and sell, twice as many tickets. You can't release a 4-hour movie in the theaters unless, I don't know, you work out some insane deal. And clearly movie theater chains do not want to, they're not going to do that for the Batman movie. They don't care that much. Unless it's the greatest Batman movie ever made, which I hate to say it ain't. So, this movie had to get cut down. I think Joss Whedon, I hate to say it, he did his best. He made some decisions I clearly disagree with, but I don't know how you turn that movie into it. There's no right way to do it. Zack Snyder shot way too much stuff, had way too much to try and fit in the movie, and he knew they wanted, at most, a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie. And Zack Snyder went and he shot too much stuff, and the plot, it wouldn't have worked. So, I feel like Whedon's over here. He's only got X amount of time to finish the film. He's got to quickly finish these reshoots to get it out on a timeline. And again, the guy who plays the robot is coming to him with notes. The robot. I think Whedon's completely within his rights to go, buddy, let me do my job. I do not need your notes. I don't care what you think about the robot character. That is not helpful. Again, Jason Momoa comes to him with questions about, you're the fish man, Jason Momoa. Shut up. You're a very nice guy. You're a fun actor. Not that great, but you're fun. Okay? Don't give Joss Whedon notes. Am I crazy? And thinking that Gal Gadot, who can't even act, is gonna give Joss Whedon notes. If I'm Joss Whedon, I'm gonna go, okay, babe, sure, I'll take it under advisement. No, he's the director. Let him direct. He doesn't need notes from the fish man, the robot, or the lady who can't act. It's not gonna be helpful. Whedon declined to comment for this piece. Good, smart. Anyway, goes on. This becomes just nonsense at certain points. Let me see if I can get to some of the insanity. Now, Geoff Johns is a DC Comics executive. Some love him, some hate him. But he told Fisher, liven up a little bit, which is a note I agree with. And Geoff Johns, frankly, is a writer of multiple DC Comics, of some of the most popular DC Comics out there, storylines and runs. Tells him, hey, man, do a less of a Frankenstein and more like a Quasimodo. Like, yes, you're upset that you're a monster, but like, if you're just miserable the whole movie, everyone's gonna not have a fun time at all, which was a note I had. I actually missed something from the Whedon cut. In the original Whedon cut, there's a moment where the Flash and Cyborg are digging up the graves. It's an alternate cut of that scene. And the Flash starts joking around, and Cyborg, he actually laughs. For a second, you're reminded, oh, he's like part human. He can laugh at a joke. And Snyder's Cut was missing that. Meanwhile, here's Fisher. He says, I did not have any intention of playing him as a jovial, cathedral-cleaning individual. Yeah, you just wanted to be moody and dark. You wanted to be another Batman, which is another problem I have with Justice League. Everybody's trying to be Batman. You got Batman already. He's already the dark, depressing character. Cyborg can have a little bit of humanity. He should gradually go from being, an angry, miserable individual to regaining a bit of his humanity, joking around, becoming fun. I mean, Cyborg, we've seen him. He's a fun character in the comics and the cartoons. He's not a dark, brooding jerk. And Geoff telling you, hey, lighten it up a little bit. Are you offended by this suggestion? Like, what is offensive about that suggestion? I mean, you can disagree with it, but you're trying to claim it's racist. Oh, yeah, here we go. Fisher told Johns it might be one thing for a non-black person to write a character for a comic, but it was another for a black actor to portray that character on screen. It was like he was assuming how black people would respond rather than taking advice from the only black person with any kind of creative impact on the project. Okay. Ray Fisher, do you really think that you have some sort of inside perspective on how black people would respond to getting turned into a robot? Like, he says, why don't you take notes from me? I'm black, so I know, how a black person would deal with becoming a robot man. I don't think you have great perspective on that. Like, you might have some idea, like, we'd be mighty upset, I guess. I don't know. Tell me, Ray Fisher. If you're a black man who gets turned into a robot, I don't know. How is that different from a white man getting turned into a robot? What are the distinct differences that we need to know about? This is insanity, honestly. I want to get down to, this is the stupidest part of this whole story. I bring this up every time people go, what was Ray Fisher mad about? It's this. The tension escalated when the issue of having Cyborg say Booyah arose. Now, if you guys watch the Teen Titans show, Cyborg likes to say Booyah. It's a fun nod to the show, okay? A lot of people only know Cyborg through the cartoon. Probably at this point, more people know Cyborg from the cartoon than from the comic books themselves. And Joss Whedon going, you know what? As part of the DC fandom, I want to reward the fans for their loyalty. I want to give them a little bit of fan service. And I want you to say Cyborg's iconic catchphrase, Booyah! Okay. So, what does Fisher say? I thought of black characters in pop culture with defining phrases. Gary Coleman's, what you talking about, Willis? Jimmy Walker's, dynamite! No one else in the film had a catchphrase. It seemed weird to have the only black character say that. It's one line. It's like a fun throwaway line. Is it really outside the realm of plausibility that a character might go, Booyah? Like, and he says it's racist. Why was this a huge thing? I mean, again, I side with the director. If the director tells you to say Booyah, say Booyah. Just do it. Do your fucking job. Like, I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the guy who says, do your job. You are there to hit your mark and say your lines. You don't like the lines? Go find another movie to be in. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? This isn't the Ray Fisher story. It's the Cyborg story. And the director, I know you don't like him. I know you don't agree with him. But he wants you to say, Booyah! You're gonna fucking say, Booyah! And you're not gonna go to the press afterwards, crying your eyes out. Joss Whedon is a horrible racist who made me say, Booyah. What are you, nuts? What is wrong? If I get a job in a... All right, I'm going to put this in perspective. I would love to be in a movie. I would love to be in a Hollywood movie. It's never going to happen. I'm a disgusting-looking individual. Okay, and if I'm in a movie and I'm making... I don't know what you make, all right? Obviously, you're not a top-tier star. I'm gonna estimate, though. At the very least, you're making $250,000, $500,000, maybe even a round $1 million to play the fucking robot. I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to go, what do you want me to say? You want me to say my underwear tastes like candy and I like to shit in my underwear candy pants, and you want me to take the shit from my candy pants and rub it on my face? Fuck sure. I'll do anything you say. Okay? I'll hit myself in the head with a hammer for $1 million. I'll do whatever you want. I'm not going to get up my own ass about, well, if a black person turned into a robot, I don't think this is how they would react. Shut the fuck up and take the money. I don't understand. All he had to do was keep his mouth shut. Okay? And he could have very easily, he was going to be in the next Flash movie. Okay? He could have got his own standalone sequel. Instead, he's burning every bridge to the ground. Now, he says he's doing it for African Americans everywhere. I don't know. It seems like a bad move. There was one more thing here I wanted to talk about with Geoff Johns. I mean, here's where things, I keep saying it keeps getting more and more crazy. At one point, Fisher claims he talked to two people who worked on Sci-Fi's Krypton TV series. I didn't even know there's a Krypton TV series. They wanted to have some guy, Reggie Jean Page. Let me take a look at this guy. I don't know what this guy looks like. This guy, okay. This individual. They wanted this guy to play Superman's grandfather. Okay. All right. Sure. Johns, who was overseeing the project, said Superman could not have a black grandfather. Well, I mean, apparently Krypton is set in the same universe as the current Superman. Henry Cavill looks like this. Okay? And you're going to say this is his grandpa. I can understand audiences who are used to this Superman meeting this guy and maybe getting a little confused. Maybe being like, wait, that's his grandpa? Is Superman black? It could have been confusing for the audience. I understand why Geoff Johns was like, maybe we don't need a black Superman grandfather. Meanwhile, Geoff Johns says he supports LGBT characters. I mean, Batwoman, who's an LGBT. I don't know why they use all the letters. Okay, LGBTQ. How is she LGBTQ? She's only one of the things. She's L. Why don't you say reintroduced as lesbian? I never know. Why do they use all the letters now? Well, she was reintroduced as a lesbian, not an LGBT. She's not bisexual, gay, and lesbian. Anyway. Also, Johns pitched a television show around the first LGBT lead DC superhero television series. What was that going to be? I don't even know what that is. And again, here we go. Nadria Tucker says, I haven't spoken to Geoff Johns since that day on Krypton when he tried to tell me what is and is not a black thing. Johns objected when a black female character's hairstyle was changed in scenes that took place on different days. I said to him, black women, we tend to change our hair frequently. It's not weird. It's a black thing. And John said, no, it's not. Okay, again, here's something you got to realize. Audiences are kind of stupid. Like, they just are. Most people who watch a television show or a movie, there's a reason that you kind of spoon feed them a little bit. Okay, and try to make things as clear and direct as possible. Again, you don't make Superman's grandfather black because the guys in the audience they're going to go, I don't get it. Is it a different Superman? Is there a different black Superman? What happened to white Superman? Why's he got to, yeah, you can't do it because the audience, they're not there with you. And also, it's the same with a black character if you change her hair. Okay? From one scene to the next. They're going to go, wait, what happened? Why'd she change? Is this a different lady? Is this set at a different point in time? Is this in the future? Is this in the past? You keep things consistent, okay? When you read a comic book, okay, when you watch a cartoon, when you watch a TV show or whatever else, the characters keep the same general look. You're not changing their hair up. You're not really changing their costume too often because you want them to be easily identifiable, immediately identifiable. Okay, there's a certain look, and once you set on it, that's the look for the character. Now, maybe in later seasons, you change up the hair, do something else. But Pretty much you establish a look for the character just so the audience can very easily follow it through. I mean, what if halfway through Indiana Jones he turned into a black guy? You'd be kind of confused, right? Or if he shaves his head midway through Indiana Jones, whatever. Okay? Or if all of a sudden he has a mustache. The audience would be confused. They're stupid. So obviously we know, yes, black women change their hair. Sure. But for a TV show where you want consistency with the character, it makes sense to be like, hey, let's not change the hair up. Let's pick a hairstyle and stick with it. So, I don't know. I read all this stuff saying that Warner Brothers is racist. The Joss Whedon is racist. Again, Fisher was supposed to play a supporting role as Cyborg in The Flash as recent as June 2020. But he would not shut his mouth. He kept, by late September, he was upset by press reports that he was demanding double his pay. Well, if that's true, not good. Not good. Although he's still getting work, so good for him. I guess he's on True Detective. I haven't watched that show in a while, so good for him. But ultimately, I have to say, look, I side with Joss Whedon. I side with the director. Unless somebody comes to me and says the director hit him, the director punched him, the director... Okay, if there was actual proof that Joss Whedon told the lady to go get an abortion, I don't believe that. If the director was legitimately racist, if he was calling Ray Fisher names, sure. But as far as I can tell, what did the evil Joss Whedon do to Ray Fisher? He cut some of his scenes. He told him, I really do not want your notes. I don't care. I've made billions of dollars for this company, and I have earned the right to not take notes from anyone. Which, once you earn that in Hollywood, you don't give it up. Once you earn the right, when like Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino's not taking notes. Somebody comes in with notes, he goes, okay, well, it's my movie, so shut up. Okay, once you make $1 billion at the box office, you have all the power. You don't have to listen to anybody. Now, maybe it's wise to listen to people. You can say, he should have listened to me. I had great ideas, sure. But if he doesn't want to listen to you, that is his God-given right. And number 3, the worst thing he did, the worst thing in the world, he wanted Cyborg to say Booyah. Racist. Shut it down. Destroy this racist man, Joss Whedon. We're going to destroy you. How dare you? How dare you? I don't know, man. Sounds like these actors get up their own ass. They get a little bit too much of an ego. I don't get it. Again, you pay me $500,000 to play a robot. I'll do whatever you want. I'll say Booyah as many times as you need me to say it. So... I don't know. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I don't understand, again, the black robot experience. Maybe I'll never understand. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Doing the YouTube thing again. Yeah, you can subscribe if you want to. I would appreciate it if you subscribe. I'm writing a video right now. It's going to be great. It's going to be a big, great video, but it's taking a lot of time because I'm doing a lot of fun stuff with it. So please bear with me. Come on back. Keep coming back. I love you. Peace and love in 2021. Take care of yourself.